For the first years I was learning dance, I thought that the best way to improve was to try harder and harder moves and move up through the levels of classes as quickly as possible so I could copy the dancers that I loved that I was watching on stage and in videos. Little did I know that the path to improvement has to do with so many other things that we're not seeing on stage. There's a lot of things that I wish I had known earlier on. It would have saved me frustration, it would have saved me a lot of time, and it would have saved me having to go back and retrain because of bad habits that I picked up when I was starting. I'm going to give you my top tips that I wish that I had, and they're going to help you improve your learning process, help you enjoy the process of learning more, and help you build a really strong foundation that's going to take you through all the way to advanced and professional levels of dance. So let's start. My first tip is to set realistic expectations for yourself and for your learning process. It is so normal that I will walk into a beginner's class and people ask me to do the hardest moves in belly dance, vibrations, belly flutters, before they've even done their fundamental basic movements. Even advanced dancers, once they've reached professional level, practice the basics on a regular basis. Why is this? Our basic movements are the foundation for our dance. If we don't have a strong foundation, it's impossible to build anything on top of it. Being able to perfect and execute those basic movements gives you the skills to be able to then do the more advanced moves. Don't be fooled, because a lot of dancers look very relaxed when they're doing these very complex movements. But a lot of these moves in belly dance take a lot of time to train your muscles, to train your coordination, to be able to properly execute. The other thing you need to set your expectations with is the learning process itself. Everyone learns at a different pace and a different rate, and some people's journey looks different than others. So don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to the professional dancers you're looking at online. Take your personal time to really learn at your own pace. Learning doesn't just look like a upward slope. Sometimes we learn and then we plateau, and we learn and plateau. This is all part of the learning process. 2, and this is a big one, stop negative self-talk early. I wish I had stopped negative self-talk earlier in my process of learning dance. Negative self-talk will slow down your learning process, and it creates a lot of unease and disconnect from your body. So get used to kind of promoting this positive inner voice as you're practicing, as you're looking at your own videos, to encourage yourself and keep yourself excited and positive about what you're doing. So make sure as you're learning new movements, as you get frustrated, we want the energy to be, wow, I'm so excited that I get to learn this new move. Oh, I found something new and challenging for my body. How great is it going to feel when I finally get this after putting in all of this work? Instead of, oh, I can't do this, and then immediately stop trying. This is going to be super important through all levels of dance learning up until professional. Number 3, build a practice plan. It's very normal that when people start out, they show up to a 1-hour class once a week, and they expect to be at an advanced level in a few months. This is not how it works. Outside of class, we also need to be practicing on a regular basis. Dedicating even just 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, is enough to really start training your coordination and your muscle memory. So my 2 tips would be, 1, schedule your practice sessions. You're more likely to show up and do your practice if it's set into your daily routine. Maybe if you work out, put it before or after your workout, pop in an extra 10 minutes just to practice your basic moves, or set it when you get home from work, when you get up. But having it set in the calendar really, really helps you be more accountable when it comes to showing up and practicing. And as for your practice sessions themselves, you can also plan these out. Try to plan a little class flow for yourself. We always want to start with a little bit of warming up, getting the body ready to dance, then dedicating maybe 10 to 15 minutes of focused technique drilling. I often suggest for all levels just to get used to free dancing. So add one song that you really love and just try to dance all the way through. You can end your little practice sesh with stretching. At the end of the session, when your body is warm, this is the best time to work on flexibility. And at the end of class, take notes. What was hard? What was easier than last time? Keeping track of your progress like this can really help plan out your practice for next time. 4, step outside of your comfort zone. This one is important for learning, but it is also really important for building confidence. Getting used to the discomfort of learning something new or doing something you're not used to really helps you build confidence and trust in yourself that if you try, you can do it. And even if maybe the first attempt isn't perfect, you showed up and you did it and you're gonna get it next time. This has been super valuable for me on the stage as a dancer, is really getting outside of my comfort zone and being proud of myself every time that I do. Push yourself, get on stage, dance, try new styles, really work on moves that put you out of your comfort zone. All of these things are going to help you progress more quickly, prevent from plateauing, and help you build that self-trust and self-confidence. Number 5, focus on building strong fundamentals. Just like I said in the beginning, a lot of people make the mistake of jumping forward too quickly, but those fundamental moves are what are gonna enable you to do the harder moves in this dance. So of course, we wanna spend a lot of time practicing and perfecting our fundamental moves. But another thing that you can think about that's really gonna help as you dance early on is focusing as well on body awareness during those fundamental movements. So I'm talking about being aware of your alignment, being aware of what muscles are firing and not firing, being aware of where your weight is on your feet. Checking in with little details like this will help you be more aware of what you're doing so you can really control your movements and get a deep mastery of your fundamental steps. This tip has a lot to do with the last tip, and it is quality over speed. So as you're practicing new movements, I know it's very tempting to try to rush and do them as quickly as possible, but practicing slowly with correct technique is what really builds deep muscle memory and control in your body. A lot of people, especially with movements like shimmies, go too fast and doing the movement incorrectly because their body's not ready to do it. Moving on to tip number 7, learn music early. Another thing that I notice is that dancers that don't think about musicality early end up with big issues connecting with the music later in their dance learning process. So right from the beginning, we should be drilling on tempo with the kind of beats, the kind of music that this dance was made for. The rhythms are the heartbeat of the dance, so I highly recommend getting familiar with some of the basic Egyptian and Arabic rhythms such as maksum and beledi, so that you can start to make those fundamental movement and music connections that'll help you build strong musicality as you're building strong technique. Number 8, and this is a big one for me that I really push with my students. It is a big reason why I host other teachers as part of my school, is that you should not be training with only one teacher. There's lots of different reasons for this. First of all, every different teacher has their own way of teaching that might speak to us more than others. Everyone learns differently, and sometimes you'll be doing a move forever with one teacher and not get it, and the second another teacher explains it in a different way, all of a sudden it works. The other thing is that a lot of us teachers and dancers who've been doing this for a very long time We have our own way of doing things. We might be using slightly different technique, and some of those differences might work better for your body than if you do it with another teacher. All of us have a unique body, and if we're really going to practice body inclusivity in this dance, we have to realize that not everyone can do every movement the same way. So experimenting with different teachers gives you the opportunity to try doing and learning moves in different ways. The other thing that I think is great about studying with multiple teachers is it tends to encourage students to have their own voice in dance. Usually when we're exposed to just one dancer for a very long time, without even thinking about it, we start to emulate the movements of that teacher because it's all we're exposed to. So if you want a lot of variety to choose from so you can start developing your own style, it's best to train with different teachers. Tip number 9 is to track your progress. It is very hard to know how far you've come if you never revisit where you started. So I have 2 really good tips for tracking your progress. One I briefly mentioned before about taking notes. So take notes after each class or after your practice sessions. You want to keep track of what moves feel hard and why. When you're making breakthroughs with movements, so when something finally clicks, making a note of it. And just making notes about how your body is feeling. Is anything sore? This might mean you're building strength. If anything hurts, this might mean you need to go back and tweak your technique or your posture. So it's very informative to take notes, have a little dance journal. The other thing that really helps is to film yourself. Film yourself maybe once a month. It doesn't have to be very often, but it's a really good way to compare how you looked then and how you look now to see if you're improving and progressing in your technique and if you're going in the direction you want, if you like how the dance looks. So either way, tracking your progress can really, really help in your development and also be something that's very inspiring as you can watch your progress in real time. And finally, number 10 is don't compare your journey. Comparison is the thief of joy. And in this age where everyone is online and we're only exposed to the best few seconds of the best performers, best shows, it is really easy to feel really bad about what you're doing. So very early on, it's really great to get out of the habit of comparing yourself to other people. Our journeys are different. Our skill levels are going to be different at different times. And at the end of the day, we all move differently. And that's something that's so great about this dance form, that we can all have a unique look, a unique way of dancing, a unique way of hearing the music, and comparing yourself to others and undermining your personal journey by trying to live up to someone else's definitely cuts a lot of the joy out of what we're doing. If you want help building a strong foundation right from the beginning, I humbly invite you to join my beginner's course. This is a comprehensive course that covers not just the basic moves that I recommend people learn from the beginning, basic moves of hips, belly, chest, arms, footwork, but we also talk about the cultural context. We talk about posture and alignment. We have some exercises like warm-ups and cool downs and some conditioning for the muscles that we might need to strengthen to make our moves better. And at the end of the course, we learn combinations and a short choreography where we put everything together so you have an amazing dance that you can do at the end of this 1-month course. So check the link in the description if you want to learn more and you can start dancing with me. So whether you're just starting your dance journey or you've been dancing for quite some time, always remember that really good, solid growth comes from your mindset, the way you're practicing, and the patience that you're giving yourself along the way. Now, even if your mindset is in the right place, there's something that a lot of beginners often have trouble with, which is having proper guidance on technique early on. A lot of movements in this dance are not as simple as they look. They have a lot of different details. And if we don't start with those, it's very hard to build that strong foundation we're talking about. One of these movements is the shimmy. Shimmies are one of the most challenging movements that I see all levels of dancers continuing to have issues with as they learn. So I would like to invite you to my next tutorial in which I'm going to be breaking down my personal foundational shimmy technique, including our body positioning and how we create the movement, how we practice it from level 1. So I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me.